Hello, I'm Colin Harkness, wine writer, wine broadcaster, wine critic, but more importantly, like you, I'm a wine consumer. I love tasting wine, I love drinking wine. Living as I do in southeast Spain, I only need to travel a couple of hours and I'm actually visiting some of the best bodegas, making some of the best wines and cavas in Spain. We're here today at Bodegas Dominio de la Vega, and as you can tell, they are experts in making cava. Well, I've tasted wine in some interesting places, and I have to say this has to be one of the most interesting. Here we are in the vineyard where it all happened. The vineyard here is actually Pinot Noir, the famous grape of Champagne. But here in Spain at Bodegas Dominio de la Vega, where they make a wonderful rosado champagne, well, it's not champagne of course, it's cava, and the Spanish are quite rightly very proud of their cava. Here, I've got a glass of red wine though. Why not? You can't get more authentic than tasting a wine in the vineyard on the tractor. We're actually ploughing in between the vines here to create a little bit more area for the vines, the roots of them, to expand. It's all part of the work of Javi, our driver today, who's actually been with Dominio de la Vega for several years. Well, I'm a little dusty after that, but how lovely, tasting wine on the tractor in the fields. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to meet Alvaro. He's here already. Alvaro, hola.
Colin, ¿cómo estás?
Very well, thank you. And thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to
We're
see
so
you.
pleased to come here today. Alvaro is one of the four founders of Bodegas Dominio de la Vega, and he's going to be able to tell us something about the process by which cava is made, also the still wines which are wonderful here, and also something about the history of this wonderful finca that we're just about to go into.
Okay, please come in.
I'd love to, thank you. I'm now in the reception hall of Bodegas Dominio de la Vega. There's a small tasting going on behind me, and this is where they receive their visitors for a tour, but afterwards, of course, they have a tasting as well. Behind me, you can see a beautiful tapestry. It's a reproduction of one which is actually in a tiny museum in the Sorbonne. And of course, it's actually telling us how wine was made in medieval times. This is not Dominio de la Vega working their vines, but if you look carefully at it, you'll see that there's grapes being collected, and also you'll see that people are actually treading the grapes. The traditional old way of pressing the grapes to get that gorgeous juice out of it. There are still some places where they press their grapes in this traditional old way, but generally now that's not the case. There's a pneumatic press where air is pumped in and it gently presses the grapes so that you just get what's known as the free-run juice. The free-run juice is about the top 50 or 60%, the first 50 or 60% of juice that comes from the grape. This is where you get your best quality wine. Clearly, that's the juice that they use here at Bodegas Dominio de la Vega. But don't just take my word for it. Here we have a selection of the prizes, the plaudits, the certificates that have been won at competition, blind tasting competition. Let me just explain what that is. That is where tasters, the tasting panel, I've been a member of such panels many times, you actually go into a room, it's all like secret really, and you actually taste a wine blind. They don't cover your eyes, but you don't have any understanding of what the wine is to start off with, so there can be clearly no misconception beforehand. A blind tasting, therefore, is the perfect and the best way to judge wines. For example, the famous American guru, I'll be referring to him many times, of course, the famous American guru, Robert Parker, has actually voted cava from Dominio de la Vega the best mark in the whole of Spain. 93 points out of 100. That is a tremendous pat on the back. But not only that, in actual fact, in 2 of the vintages, Cava from Bodegas Dominio de la Vega was voted the best cava in Spain by the cava makers themselves, the fraternity of cava makers. They decided that that was the best at a blind tasting.